Good day. Today, our topic in this commentary is who scored the goal? Who scored the goal? Listening to this commentary, I'm going to run a little minute of commentary, listening. And our question is, who scored the goal? There is goal in this commentary. There's a goal in this commentary. Who scored the goal? Listening. There's a reward. So you better listening and give us right answer or give us the name. Who scored the goal? Listening.
Barcelona got off to a winning start for the 2024-25 season. Winning start as well for Hansi Flick, the new coach. There he is with Ruben Baraca right at the start of the game. Valencia paid tribute to the supporters that they'd lost in the summer, as well as Severo, former player for them in the 70s. Once the action got underway, Barca made a bright start. Rafinha linking up with Lewandowski. He swept the ball out to Lamine Yamal, and Lamine Yamal's shot was deflected away for a corner. Hansi Flick started with Lewandowski up front and Rafinha behind him as the number 10, with Lamine Yamal and Ferran Torres as the wide players. And in midfield, Marc Casado and Marc Bernal, just 17 and 20 years old. And they were superb in the middle of the pitch. So the Germans' team selection completely justified. Shot there from Balde, back starting a Barcelona game for the first time since January of this year, before that hamstring injury ruined last season for him. Valencia started to create problems, and Hugo Duro's cross was very nearly headed in by Rafa Mir. Rafa Mir making his debut after arriving in the summer from Sevilla. Former Valencia youngster, of course, and also played in Barcelona's youth academy as well at La Masia. Good play this from Almeida. Kubasi puts the ball wide. Rafa Mir started the game playing wide, and it was Almeida who was playing behind Hugo Duro. This corner from Pepelu, headed over the top by Hugo Duro. He had a very lively first 45 minutes, Hugo Duro. He scored once, he could have scored twice. It was a very typical Duro performance. He was absolutely everywhere and causing problems for Barcelona's defenders. Barcelona causing problems for Valencia here. Lamine Yamal into Rafinha. Rafinha struck that very well. Mamardashvili making the save. Mamardashvili starting in goal for Valencia, despite the fact that most people seem to think around the club that he won't still be at Valencia come the end of the month. But Ruben Baraca said he was going to pick him if he had him available, and that's exactly what he did. This is Javi Guerra sliding this one neatly into Diego Lopez. Takes a deflection, and Ter Stegen sticks out a right hand and makes a very good and a very important save. Barcelona captain Marc-Andre Ter Stegen. It's Kubasi with the block, but the block almost wrong-foots his goalkeeper, but not quite. And at the other end, another opportunity from a set piece for Barcelona. Kubasi gets under it and heads it over the top. Lamine Yamal linking up with Ferran. Still Lamine Yamal scuffed his shot. And not a problem for Mamardashvili. Jesus Vázquez had plenty of space to run into here. Plays the ball out to Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez with the cross. Hugo Duro with the header. And the flag at first is raised. Those fans believe it's a goal. And they were right. 43 minutes up. And Inigo Martinez, is it his right leg or his left leg? It's his right leg playing Hugo Duro onside. And he picks out the far post. And that's his first goal of the season, Hugo Duro. And there's the celebration, delayed celebration. But VAR doing its job. It should have counted the goal, and it did, and Valencia were ahead. All smiles in Mestalla. And once again, Hugo Duro getting on the end of Diego Lopez deliveries, as he did so often last season. And not the best start for Hansi Flick. He must have thought at this point that he was going to have to give his half-time team talk to a team that were trailing, but that was not to be the case. There's the confirmation that Martinez was playing him onside, more than just his right foot, in fact. How would Barcelona respond? Lewandowski out to Balde, back to Casado. Kubasi adjudged to have fouled on the edge of the area. It's an excellent pullback. And Casado playing in that double pivot just in front of the defence alongside Bernal, but showing regularly in the, throughout the game that he has more to his game than that. And he was, well, let's see if he's given man of the match in the Catalan papers, but it was some performance. And what about this save on the line from Kubasi? This is so important. This would have been 2-0 just before the break. Diego Lopez, Hugo Duro, and it's Kubasi arriving just in time to make the clearance. And down at the other end of the pitch, Barcelona would get themselves back into the match. The ball back out to Balde. Balde's cross, Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski, 1-1. And Robert Lewandowski, who scored the first goal for Bayern Munich in the Hansi Flick era at Bayern, does exactly the same. Scores the first Barcelona goal in the Hansi Flick Barcelona era. Onside, level with Yanak, and so the goal stands. And Lewandowski, who barely touched the ball in the first half an hour or so, but his job is to touch the ball right there, right where it matters, and that's exactly what he did. So 1-1 at half-time, and there's only one thing worse than conceding just before half-time, and that's conceding just after half-time. And that's pretty much what Valencia did from the penalty spot. They could have been conceded even earlier, because Lamine Yamal had this chance 40 seconds into the restart. But this is the penalty. It's Mosquera, brings down Rafinha. Referee, no doubt in his mind. Some protests, but not really much belief in those Valencia players remonstrating with the referee. And that would give Robert Lewandowski the chance to double his tally and double Barcelona's tally. And it's a brilliant penalty, as you'll see very shortly. And there isn't a goalkeeper in the world who's going to stop that. It almost seemed to curl. You don't see often a penalty curling, but it seemed to bend back in just inside the post and at a height and at a speed that Mamardashvili went the right way, but he had no chance. So 2 goals for Lewandowski, 2 goals for Barcelona, and they were in the driving seat. And it was then a question of what would Valencia have to offer in return, and unfortunately for the home fans, the answer was not a lot. They did run out of steam a little bit in the second half. They came close there. Hugo Duro not too far away from getting on the end of that cross. Thierry Rendell delivering it, and it just goes beyond the end, just goes beyond Duro. So Hugo Duro could easily have had a hat-trick had he connected with that and had Kubasi not cleared off the line in the first half. Another opportunity there, but he gets under this one and heads it a long way over the top. Up against Balde, and Balde doing his job. Diego Lopez trying to get away from Jules Koundé here. A shot through the crowd from Pepelu. Nicely done here by Lamine Yamal. Into Ferran. Everyone in Mestalla thought this was offside. The flag stayed down. So had he been able to beat Mamardashvili, then it would have been 3, but it wasn't possible. Great skill from Lamine Yamal and an excellent stop from Giorgio Mamardashvili. Problems here for Balde, and some concerns really, because it was a hamstring injury that kept him out for half of last season, and it seemed to be a repeat of that, or to be the 16-year-old Valencia right winger came on in the second half. Valencia without first choice wingers, Sergi Canos and Fran Perez at the moment, so calling on youth. They had the youngest average age last season in terms of the squads, Valencia, and it does look very similar story this season. Good effort this from Pedri, just wide. Pau Victor, top scorer in the summer, came on to replace Lamine Yamal. And in the dying minutes of the game, it looked more like Barcelona would get the third as opposed to Valencia getting an equaliser. Pau Victor caused lots of problems, and Marc Casado almost topped his debut by scoring the third. It was certainly full of energy, full of running in the last 10 minutes. Lewandowski skies this one. Hansi Flick did say when they lost that last pre-season friendly it was because of fatigue. Well, no fatigue on show here. Final score, Valencia 1, Barcelona 2.